Welcome to my channel, baby. Sip sensibility. Welcome to my channel, baby. Sip sensibility.
Hey, this is Sensibility Speaks. Thanks for stopping by, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So the new season of Love and Marriage Huntsville is here, and let's get into some things, right? It's titled Arrested Redevelopment. Now, I love to play on words because actually it should be titled Arrested Development. I'm going to get into that. So let's discuss the intent versus the impact of the intentional attempt to minimize the egregiousness of Martell's intent as it relates to the reasons why he was arrested. So it's a common assumption that most of the viewers of the show, and us Melometers or Melody supporters in particular, wholeheartedly believe that the production team is trying to lessen the impact or the blow to Martell in terms of the viewing audience seeing him for exactly who he is, because he's shown time and time again who he is. So it's very telling that Melody has to have security on her premises just in case a Bama or a fool tries something, and we know who that Bama may be, or if something were to occur, who's behind it. So it really grinds my gears that the naysayers and the male-identified women, the pick-me's, the pick-mishas, who have disdain for Melody on varying levels, okay, they say ish like, oh, she doing too much, why she needs security. Let's be clear, Black women in particular are unalived at astronomical rates and alarming rates at the hands of their significant others or at the hands of a bitter ex-partner, be it an ex-boyfriend, ex-husband, you name it, you get my drift, or however you want to characterize it. Now, unfortunately, the statistics, they don't lie. So, case in point, during the time of the panorama, that's what I'm going to call it, okay? Back in 2020, the unaliving of Black women in particular rivaled and paralleled that of Black men, okay? And let's be clear, as we know, Black on Black crime, in particular, Black men offing or unaliving, shall I say, one another over envy, hate, turf wars, you name it, okay? Self-hate. You name the reasons why, but we know that happens. But during that time of the panorama, it was an increase of like upwards of 33% that Black women were unalived at the hands of their partners because of DV, domestic violence. So for people to minimize or to act like she don't need security, that's just some bullshiggity, okay? Because how often in the news do you hear about young Black women or women of various ages, okay, are being unalived by Black men because they can't regulate their damn emotions? But they say that we're emotional, but I digress. That's a whole nother conversation. But I thought it to be apropos and very appropriate that this particular episode, again, would be titled Arrested Redevelopment, okay? No, it should be called Arrested Development. Now, Martell's maturation or maturity level does not go beyond his adolescent years. And I say this because his tantrums, his outbursts are similar to that of an immature, precocious child who doesn't get their way. And I like how production showed flashbacks of him acting unhinged, okay, for the viewers to see in case y'all forgot, okay? But the sad part about it is Miss Marlene coddles him to no end, and she lacks the wherewithal to be objective, and she encourages his irresponsible and irrational behavior. She does. Now, in past seasons, he mentioned that he was bullied as a child, and in my opinion, it probably because they grew up in abject poverty, okay, or poor on a level. Miss Marlene was a single mother. I think his grandmother had a hand in raising him and his brother. But to get to the point, she probably couldn't afford financially to buy name brand clothes and things like that. And kids can be cruel. They'll tease you if you got hand-me-downs and things like that, especially if you're in a school district with more well-to-do children who parents are able to provide or willing to provide when it comes to material possessions and clothes. But the sad part is, more importantly, that Marlene really missed a pivotal point in his development because as opposed to telling him to man the F up and to suck it up buttercup, when he was getting bullied, she should have been listening to him and hearing him out and even putting him into therapy, counseling, or what have you, so he can unpack those emotions, right? Because he said himself on numerous occasions that he was a rebellious child, and he's still a rebellious adult. Okay? He has a sense of entitlement that's out of this world. And in my opinion, I believe he has low self esteem. I know oftentimes we talk about how he's an overt narcissist and all of that stuff, absolutely, but it stemmed from somewhere, right? He has a grandiose sense of self, but in my opinion, he has an inferiority complex, but he tries to mask it with being arrogant and cocky. Okay? He has an entitled sense of self. So all of the things that he think he should have gotten or what have you, he feels entitled to the world now, like, how dare you tell me no? And on many occasions I've said I think he suffers from sociopathy, allegedly, and in my opinion. But anyway, saying all of that to say, he doesn't learn from consequences. Melody divorced him. That was not consequence enough for him to say, damn, I effed up. Not only did I cheat on her, treat her like ish, felt inferior and insecure in a relationship, tried to get her to bow down on numerous occasions, and kept raising the bar in order for him to propel or to increase, in his mind, his masculinity, because he did have an inferiority complex. But that being said, child, Miss Marlene missed the mark. I think he has an Oedipus complex, for real. And I won't go too deep into that. And also, I do feel like he has some secret disdain and hate for his mother. Okay. I feel like he takes it out on the women that he has romantic or serious involvement with. Okay. Because it comes out how he treats them very poorly. He has misplaced and displaced anger. And he takes out his frustration on women. He does. In my opinion, with his misogynistic arts. But I can go on with that. Yeah. But listen to Miss Marlene on this episode. Coddled has asked, oh, not my baby, not my son. And why is she messing with you over some text messages? Oh, mama, I don't know why she messing with me, mama. I just sent her some text messages. Child, as opposed to telling her that you sent some threatening ass text messages, texting her goddamn over and over, calling her and acting a damn fool, almost to the point to where you're acting obsessed and stalkerish, and then you say, don't bully me. But see, what gets me about him, the behaviors and the things that he does to her, he tries to flip it around. Okay, she's bullying me. She's doing this to me. She cheated too. I cheated. Oh, but you cheated too. You see what I'm saying? So everything that he does, he tries to flip it around. Oh, we did that. But we know he can't take accountability or responsibility for shit. But it was interesting to see that the production playing the back and forth, he's giving his account of what happened. Melody is refuting everything he said, and she's giving her truthful account of what happened as she's talking to her brother Marcus. The only thing I wish that production would have said, call a goddamn thing a thing. Call it Revenge P. Say that ish, okay? Now, Melody was quite clear. She painted the picture that he sent her threatening text messages, okay? And as it relates to him and her, a video that they had together, him threatening to put that out, that's because he wanted to control her and wanted her to do exactly what he wanted her to do. Child, we remember all that ish back then, where he was tapping her phone and all this type of ish and having devices and whatnot, listening to conversations popping up on her, and on random days he was doing all type of stuff. But anyway, to get to the point, I just wish production would have said Revenge P. Goddamn, paint the damn picture, as he's trying to minimize it. Oh, well, yeah, I sent a text message. I had about 8 lines or whatever. Like, motherfucker, come on now. Oh, and I attached a image to it. So it sounds like production may have asked, well, what else did you send?
Okay. Attached was a picture.
You see how they edited and spliced that thing up, right? In my opinion, they're trying to minimize it. They're touching on it, but call it a damn thing. He threatened to put out Revenge P on her if she didn't act in accordance to the way that he wanted her to act, okay? We all know that he planted the seed and he asked his paramour, his bird brain, Miss Carrie, to release that Revenge P tape, and she wouldn't do it. We know that story. Oh, Martiana Busted Down was pressuring her, allegedly. We've all heard the phone calls. But Miss Marlene, y'all divorced. She should get over it. You didn't apologize to her, son. You's a good man, Martell. I'm just like, yo, dense ass. Ooh, child, I don't want to talk about the boy mama, but she about as dense as she could goddamn be. But anyway, child, she didn't have the wherewithal then, and she don't have the wherewithal now. But God bless her. I ain't gonna go in on her too much, but shit, it is what it is. Somebody should have gave the Bama some consequences. But the types like him, you know how you see in the news how women have to get restraining orders on men because they're in domestic violence situations, the man beating the hell out of them and all that stuff, harassing them, stalking them, coming up to their job, setting them on fire, just all types of ish, right? They get locked up, they get the piece of paper on them, and then they still violate the restraining order and they end up hurt or even worse, unalive. See, people like that, not only do they treat you like shit during a relationship, then they punish you for not allowing them to continue to treat you like shit. Some of these motherfuckers are unhinged, just straight up crazier than damn cat pee. And I hate to say it, he falls in that category, child. Allegedly, and in my opinion, he falls in that category. But to kind of cut over a little bit, because I'm going to probably do at least another video or two on this. I'm going to kind of break it up because I don't want it to be too long. But it was disappointing to hear Miss Nell and then Courtney, Stormy's husband, automatically say, oh, well, she shouldn't get him locked up and all this type of stuff. Now, I know that black men are targeted oftentimes by police and things like that. There's institutional and systemic racism. We get it. But that ain't got ish to do with this, okay? Because if Obama's acting unhinged, acting crazy as hell, being abusive, being obsessive, stalkerish, allegedly, and all that stuff, or acting out and being abusive, then they need to suffer the consequences of their actions, okay? And if that means you need to do a little goddamn jail time, then damn so be it. Then he shouldn't have been doing what he was doing in order for him to get a warrant to be arrested, okay? And see, that's what's wrong in the black community, the coddling of black men, okay? Coddling the hell out of them, as opposed to having them taking accountability and responsibility for their actions. Child, ooh, I could do a whole video on that, but I'm not going to get too deep in that. But that's just par for the course, the responses, especially Courtney saying that, oh, it was just text messages. So it said in the opening of the episode, Martell Hope arrested for blah, 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 blah. But anywho, y'all drop that in the comments and y'all tell me what y'all think. I think they should have called a spade a spade. I think they should have, when it comes to intent versus impact, I think they should have nailed his ass to the cross. Say what it is. Don't leave it up for speculation or conjecture. Say the reason why he was arrested for domestic violence in the 3rd degree, or whatever the hell the charge was, because he threatened to put Revenge P out on his ex-wife. Go ahead and say it. Say the damn thing. And also, I can't get over that damn Miss Marlene. She won't leave you alone. She would leave you alone and effectively and healthily co-parent with Martell if he was willing to do so. It's he that can't let it go. And he is in arrested development. He is stuck in his adolescence. He wants his way. He wants what he wants when he wants it, because oftentimes in episodes, he said, this one won't act right, or they just won't do what I tell them to do, or do the things that I want them to do. I'm like, motherfucker, who the hell are you? Don't nobody got to do nothing just because you damn said it. You got to compromise. Melody's a grown woman, just like you're a grown man, Shit. No means no. N-O. No, Bama. Okay, your ass on. Anyway, this is Sensibility Speaks. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And again, you guys tell me what you think. This episode was something else. And I'm probably going to do a part 2 and part 3 on other parts of the episode because there's so much to unpack.